Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about 15 things you need to know before you consider purchasing the brand new Hijak Ruston sports car in Grand Theft Auto Online. We're also going to be looking at some buyer beware, some things I like, some things I don't like, and my overall review on whether or not you should be purchasing this vehicle. Now, to help you guys out along the way, I am going to be doing a shark card giveaway. I'm handing out $500,000 to one lucky person. That giveaway is going on my Twitter account right now. It's going to be ending tomorrow, number one, because this was the only vehicle added, and number two, it costs so little that I just want to get you guys this card as quickly as possible so that one of you guys can start enjoying this brand new vehicle. But with all the way, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into it and let's get it started. So the first barrier to entry here with all new vehicles, for the most part, is price, and the price on the Hijak Ruston is not bad at all. It's only $430,000, and when you compare that to other sports cars, that's actually not all that terrible. Now, is it more expensive than the Massacro and the Jester? Yes, it is. Is it more expensive than the Feltzer? Yes. But as far as recent sports cars go, it's not that bad. I mean, if you compare it to the price of the Lynx, which is like $1.7 million, it's actually not terrible at all. And as you saw in my video earlier today, upgrading and customizing this car doesn't necessarily make it all that more expensive either. You probably won't spend more than $530,000, $550,000 on the customization of this vehicle, especially if you're pretty careful and choosy about what you put on there. So barrier to entry and price is not bad. I have nothing wrong with that, and I actually think that is pretty awesome of how cheap it is. Now, before we take this into the LSC, let's take a look at the interior. This is something that always intrigues me with new cars. So this might be me nitpicking a little bit, but the interior of this car is beautiful. It's laced in carbon fiber. There's roll cages. There's these carbon fiber racing seats. There's all these crazy knobs and dials and switches and buttons, yellow and red and green. And then you get the steering wheel that looks like it was literally taken off of just like a cheap sedan. I don't know why Rockstar went super cheap on the steering wheel here, but it like doesn't seem to match the rest of the car. So to me, that's a little bit of a bummer. Also, a couple other issues with the steering wheel. It does seem to clip with a good bit of the clothing that your characters could wear in game. So if you do drive in first person, keep that in mind. And also, the steering wheel does block a little bit of like the speedometer, RPM meter. It's not as bad as some of the other cars like the GP1 and the Infernus and Turismo Classic, but nonetheless, it still does, which to me is a little bit unfortunate, especially if you like to drive it in first person. Another thing about this vehicle you might not have known is it actually does have a windshield. So we'll see this a little bit later on in the LSC. A lot of people think it just has no windows, no windshield at all, but it actually does. It's very tiny on the front, and you'll see a little bit more of that as we get into the custom shop. So let's move into the custom shop right now, and this car has a ton of amazing customization. For the price you're getting, lots of great customization options here. I mean, you can upgrade so many different things, including the bumper, you can do the exhaust, you can do the hood, you can change the skirts, the spoiler, the splitter. You can obviously upgrade the paint job itself, which is actually pretty cool and what we need to move on to right now. So customization is a lot. You're getting a ton for the amount you're paying for, which is great. There's one front bumper option that is changed with the secondary color. That's the Velocious bumper. There are two rear bumper options, the stock one and the secondary one, that take on the secondary color. On the inside of the car itself, the roll cage and the floor, those take on the secondary color, as well as the cage that goes, I guess, on the top of the car. I don't really know what to call. I guess that's the roll cage as well, but that takes on the secondary color. There is also one spoiler as well, the race wing, that if you have a secondary color, it will take that also. And then as far as the primary color goes, not only does that change the exterior of the car, but it also changes that hubcap, and it also changes the ring that goes around the outside of the tire itself. That is changed via the primary color. So if you want that to be changed, you're going to have to update the primary color, and it will stay the same whatever the primary color of the vehicle is. So I thought that was really cool right there. Now, another neat thing about this car is you can actually change the color of the stock rims, which I think is kind of nice. So in order to do this, you must use the iFruit app. I get it. The iFruit app stinks. It's broken all the time. But if it's not broken for you, you probably know how to do this method. You can change the stock wheels, and you can actually get a pretty cool look right there. Now, if you want the same look as the stock wheels, but you don't want the blue or whatever color ring on the outside and hubcap in the center, there's actually a high-end wheel that looks very, very similar to that, and it is Cheetah RR. So it pretty much gets you the exact exact same look. You just don't get that ring around the outside, and you don't have that hubcap in the center. It's replaced by more of like an alloy one with some nuts and bolts as well. So that is actually a preferred look, I think. But if you want to have the crazy ring around the outside, which I know a lot of people will with this car because it is very fun, then obviously just stick with the stock wheels. And as you guys can see, even though there's no option to change the windows, you do have a very, very, very tiny windscreen up at the front. It's almost like it's made of plastic wrap. It's so thin and hard to see. But nonetheless, you still do have one. You just can't tint it or anything like that. And then there's no other windows on the side of the car. So that's pretty much it as far as customization goes right there. So for price and modification, it's pretty awesome. It's 2 big thumbs up for me. Not expensive at all, and you get a bunch of great but also unique customization. I mean, the roll cage is super cool. The bumper options are incredibly unique as well. So I really do like the first 2 aspects of this car. Now we need to get on to performance, and this is where this car kind of takes a giant leap back. So from just driving this vehicle around and from the very simple testing that I've done so far, there's a couple things I've noticed about this vehicle. Number one is it doesn't like to go over bumps or to try and turn. I don't know what about this car doesn't like doing that, but if you hit a bump, like you'll probably see a little bit in this gameplay, your car will go like flying up in the air. It doesn't have the best turning radius. Really, the best thing about this car is it's got really good acceleration. That's about it. I don't know if that comes from the fact that it's the Hijak brand or something along those lines, but honestly, that's about it. According to racing YouTuber Broughy, whose video I'll leave in the description, he goes into way more detail than I could possibly go right now. It is, I believe, the 31st best sports car in terms of how it performs around a track, as well as top speed. So you're not going to be buying this car for racing. Let's just say that. And another thing about this car is it doesn't receive an upgrade from having a spoiler. Now, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. The bad news is that its traction is impacted by downforce, which means that it's not going to have the best turning radius. It's not going to handle corners that well at all, which is probably why it's not a very good racing vehicle. However, that means you don't have to add a spoiler if you don't want to, and you'll have the exact same traction bonus. So a lot of times I'll see people complaining that they have to add a spoiler to their car, even though it might make it look uglier in their opinion because they want that bonus. Well, in this case, you don't have to. Whether you have a spoiler or not, it's not going to make any difference on the car. So as far as performance goes, this is not a vehicle you're going to want to use for racing. To me, when I originally saw it, it kind of felt like it was going to be in the same category of like the BF Raptor, where I was really going to like this vehicle, which I still do, and it's unique and it's fun, but there's no way I'm going to be using this for racing. And I think the same thing can be said here. You're not going to be using the Hijak Ruston for racing. If you're going to be buying this vehicle, you're going to be buying it because it's fun, it's unique, it's interesting, and overall it has basically a cool factor to it that a bunch of other vehicles do not. So now to give you guys my final verdict on this vehicle and what I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, a lot of people are looking forward to the other cars in this update, the 2 classic vehicles, Furnace and Turismo, and then everyone's super excited about the Duke of Death returning to Grand Theft Auto Online permanently. So I think that this car is fun. It's not all that expensive, which I think is great, meaning that if you do buy it and you don't love it, it's not a huge investment or a huge waste. However, I will say the customization is pretty dang cool. I mean, spoiler, bumper options, roll cage, the fact that you can change the stock wheels is awesome. It's got a unique set of stock wheels that change with the primary color of the car, splitters, skirts. I mean, there's a whole lot of things you can do. You can change the hood as well. So customization is like an A++. Price is about an A, I would say. Performance, definitely not there. I'd say somewhere around the line of like a C- or a D, just barely hanging on to that passing grade. But then overall, just fun and unique level is up there too. I would say, I wish it did have like a unique feature. I'd love to be able to just hop into this car instead of opening up the doors. You know how in single player, if there's a convertible car, Franklin, Michael, Trevor will like jump into it rather than opening the door. I wish that was the same case here because there's like this very tiny windshield. There's no windows. I wish that instead of having to open the door, you could like jump over it and jump in. That would be really, really cool. But obviously, I don't think that feature has been programmed into Grand Theft Auto Online. So it doesn't surprise me that the Ruston doesn't have a feature like that. But am I offering this car a buyer beware? I am if you're going into it thinking that it is a track-ready sports car that's about to take down the Massacro and the Jester and the Feltzer. However, I don't give it the buyer beware if you want want to just enjoy this car, have fun with it, hang out with your friends. It's cool, it's unique, kind of fits into that same category as the BF Raptor and the BF Bifta for me, and it's another Hijak vehicle. The only other Hijak car we've had in the game is the Chameleon, and I believe that was like a collector's edition item, so I'm not sure if everyone has that car in the game. So for many of us, this could be the first Hijak vehicle, which could be pretty cool, but nonetheless, I think it's a really fun car. Just know what you're getting when you purchase it. Fun, creative, but not something that's going to blow the doors off sports car races. But really, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully, you did enjoy. Remember to check out my shark card giveaway that's going on in the description right now. One of you guys is going to be walking away basically with a free Hijak Ruston, so that's pretty cool. If you did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.